Ms. Satagopan, thank you for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And it was a steady quarter overall, with revenue rising 10%, broadly in line with expectations. Walk us through the key highlights in the quarter gone by and the key takeaways for the year ahead.
Well, as you mentioned, the quarter has seen a steady performance, mainly led by our India business, which has been showing a pretty strong and sustained performance over the past few quarters. India business grew by almost 16% ahead of the market during the first quarter of the year. And we've also seen an encouraging growth in our innovative medicines business, which is led both by our US markets and the global markets.
Right. Ms. Satagopan, hi, good afternoon. This is Snehi. Good to be speaking with you. You did mention the US markets. How has the US business performance been in the quarter gone by? I remember last quarter you'd attributed generics weakness partly to compliance-related approval delays. Has that situation improved at all?
So let me first talk to you about the overall US business performance. In US, our innovative medicines business has done pretty well. We have seen growth in most of the branded specialty or innovative medicines during the quarter. The generics business had degrown, mainly on account of lenalidomide sales that we had in the first quarter of last year, which we do not have in the current quarter. That's a prime driver for the degrowth in the generics business. There continues to be pricing pressure in generics, which we do not see something that could go away in the coming quarters. Having said that, we did have 5 launches in the US generics during the quarter, and the focus would be to bring in new products to counter some of the pricing pressures there.
All right. And Ms. Satagopan, you've also said Semaglutide has made you India's #1 generic injectable player, with your auto injector standing out with doctors. Last quarter, you had cautioned that the real traction would only be visible after 5 to 6 months. Are you now seeing that full traction in the numbers as far as Semaglutide is concerned?
Not really, as it's just about 4 months since Sema has been launched in India. The launch happened in March of 2026, and we are seeing continued improved performance month on month. Currently, we are the #2 player in the injectables generics. We have our auto injectors, which are very user-friendly, and we are seeing a lot of encouraging responses, both from patients as well as the prescribers. We have our own API and formulation manufacturing within the country, and therefore that also ensures there is supply chain continuity to meet with the demands of the market. I think over the coming few months, we will see more traction and also growth in this very interesting segment, which is opened up for both diabetes as well as obesity management.
Understood. Ms. Satagopan, Leqselvi has had its best launch month yet in June, crossing 1,000 prescribers. How is the broader payer coverage picture evolving, and where do you see this brand a year from now?
No, I think Leqselvi has been growing month on month, and as we mentioned in our release as well, it has crossed 1,000 prescribers in June, and we continue to see the traction. Formulary coverage has been good. The patient's response has been quite encouraging, and I think we'll continue to focus on growing this product to provide solutions to the patients as we move month on month.
Right. This quarter also saw the first exceptional charge related to the Organon acquisition, with more flagged in the coming quarters. With shareholder approval now complete and closing targeted for the fourth quarter of FY27, could you give us a sense of the scale of integration costs we should expect between now and closing?
So look, we may not be able to give you an indication in terms of what could be the numbers, because even we are trying to get a hang of that. Most of it would be closer to the time when the transaction is getting consummated. which would be in the fourth quarter of this financial year. But as and when we have these costs coming up, we will be disclosing it as an exceptional item and we'll be sharing with all of you.
Okay. And Ms. Satagopan, emerging markets growth, that has slowed quite sharply this quarter to just over 4% from the double-digit growth that we've seen in the previous quarter. Now, you've cited geopolitical issues and weak macro conditions. Can you tell us specifically which markets are seeing the most pressure right now on ground?
No, I think the geopolitical situation, in my view, should be there for maybe a few months, but we don't see this to continue for a longer period in time. So it should even out and normalize. At the same time, one should also look at some of the upcoming launches that we have for the emerging markets, especially in terms of semaglutide, where we've got the approvals both for South Africa and Brazil, which should also give us a little bit of an uptick in these markets. The emerging markets have been growing pretty well in the last year, and we expect that to happen in the next couple of quarters as well.
And Ms. Satagopan, you also recently launched semaglutide in newer geographies as well. Which are you most excited for, and what sort of opportunity do you see in the coming few quarters with respect to semaglutide launches in across geographies?
Brazil is a large market where we have outlicensed this product to our partner. So we would look for them actually to see how the opportunity could be maximized. But we think it's a very interesting opportunity overall because we're going to be one of the very first few players to introduce this product in Brazil.
Okay, and lastly, Ms. Satagopan, I understand this is difficult to quantify, but any impact that you're gauging right now of the possible US tariffs on the generics business for the company?
Here again, if you look at it, this input in terms of the higher tariff has been announced through the social media just about a week back. So most of the companies are currently looking at assessing what would be the impact. There's still a long time between now and 2 years when President Trump has indicated that the tariffs could go up to 100% or maybe a year later to 200%. I think we're all looking at what could be the impact, what could be the course of action, working with the administration, individually as a company and also collectively as Pharma Association. So in my view, I think these are still early days. We'll have to work together and see how to counter this or how to work with the administration. We would also be taking support, obviously, from the Indian Pharma Association in this.
Okay, so that's the word coming in with respect to semaglutide. Ms. Satagopan, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. But on that